Yeah. Salam bitakum. Salam alaikum.
South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy number one on the beat, number one on the beat. Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. Malakani Pele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. Jongule de Pele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. Puru de Pele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. Rumeki de Pele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi. Wau de Pele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. South Sudanese, Nabijere win. Baby Gabele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. Yami Yobele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. Yei de Pele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. Mariti de Pele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. Mundri de Pele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. Mati Pele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco. Junubi de Pele Tanina, Salavatari Zede, Nabiseli de Ala, Nasibi Easy Coco.
ده كان كنا جميل جدا. أنا لسه مستنى الضيف بتاعنا، يا ريتو أن كنا شير غرفة ده برضه عشان كنا يوتيوب برضه شغال عشان نستضيف اللي هو الضيفة بتاعنا بتاع الليلة اللي هو سيستا روزماري. while we are listening كنا واصل وأنا we share video to pin people in. We are also meanwhile we listen to yeah.
This is a message from the National Salvation Front, to bring peace and unity to our people. Rise up, my 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 people. Yeah, rise up, my people. Rise up, my people. Yeah, rise up, my people. It's the revolution time. We got to stand for our rights. It's the revolution time. We got to stand for our rights. It's the revolution time. We got to speak our minds. It's the revolution time. We got to speak our minds. National Salvation is fighting to liberate our suffering people. National Salvation is fighting to liberate our suffering people. NAS, people power. NAS, people power. NAS, yeah, people power. NAS, yeah, people power. National Salvation Mission to restore our unity. National Salvation Mission to restore our dignity. To bring us the rule of law and accountability. Social justice and the equal rights. To restore people dignity. Establish a federal system. We believe in people power. To restore our unity. To restore our rights. NAS, people power. NAS, people power. NAS, yeah, people power. NAS, yeah, people power. It's a time for South Sudanese, to rise up to fight for their own rights. We got to move this regime out of our way. General Thomas doesn't fight for position, but rather solution. National Salvation doesn't fight for position, but rather solution. Look at all opposition in Juba, they sign peace with no solution. Look at all oppositions I peace in Juba, they left with no solution. Make your decision, national salvation is the last solution. Make your decision, national salvation is the last solution. Nasgua, people power. Nasgua, people power. Nasgua, yeah, people power. Nasgua, yeah, people power.
NASGUA, people power. I could see our guest is down there. You can raise, I already sent you a request. You just accept so you can come on the stage. The guest is down there. If you can hear me, I sent you a request. Yeah, you're welcome on the stage. We want to thank all our listeners and also viewers through the YouTube. We want to appreciate your presence. We're about to start soon, but just with one little short song, then we'll proceed. Yeah.
Give us wisdom and power to liberate. Almighty God, have mercy on our people. Give us wisdom and power to liberate our nation from oppression, to achieve peace and prosperity that will ensure freedom, justice, and equality. National Salvation Front will struggle to restore unity, dignity, and power to the people of our nation that preserve diversity and establish a federal democratic South Sudan. We shall honor the blood of our martyrs forevermore. Always nice, go people power.
Always nice, go people power. My brothers and sisters, allow me to take this opportunity to welcome you today on the 17th May 2024. Today, our guest of honor is our newly appointed first speaker of the NAS Salvation Council, and she's also actually a first female as well. Not only that, she's the first speaker to NAS Salvation Council. Salvation Council is actually like a parliament, we can say, but she's also made history here as the first female, and today we are hosting her. We want also to apologize. The interview is supposed to be yesterday, but due to some emergency, we could not proceed, and then that's why we actually delayed for today. And maybe I will have an honor here also to give her a chance first to make sure that she can greet everyone before we proceed with question or anything like that. Sister Rosemary, this newly is appointed speaker of the NAS Salvation Council. So please, if you can blink, open your mic and say hello.
Yes, thank you, Sister Teresa.
Can you raise your volume in case if you're using your speaker or the headphone, you can remove them. So will give us possibility of your volume to be higher.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Can
you hear me?
Can you increase the volume from your end?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you know, if you're using headphone, just remove them completely. Sometimes they can really reduce the volume for, you know, here. Can you speak again?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can
Just
you better?
yeah. Let me ask the moderators if the voice is clear enough, or even the audience who are listening.
Hello?
Yeah. Just increase your volume from your phone on the side. Increase it up to be high a little bit.
This is the limit. This is the limit right now. Maybe I just need to shout.
Yeah, just bring it closer to you, the phone, so then at least we'll have a better hearing here, or even people in the room. Yes, one of the members here is, I mean, the people who are watching say that's better now. Yeah. So please, you're welcome. Before we proceed, if you want to say hello to the room.
Yes. Thank you, Teresa, for inviting me on this great occasion. And I just want to thank everybody who has taken their time to be able to come and attend this. I greet you all, and I'm honored that you're here, wanting to hear.
Yes, your voice disappeared again.
And the voice disappear. Can you unmute yourself and yeah. Can you go on again? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, hello?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to greet everybody that has made the time to be able to attend today. And I thank you all for your commitment to the work that NAS does. And I thank all the compatriots who are up here, Teresa, Mido, and Dominic. Thank you for your diligence in the service that you give to NAS. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mrs. Rosemary. I just wanna really maybe if you can introduce yourself. Who is Rosemary, and how can you introduce yourself to the audience who are listening today as newly appointed and first speaker of NAS Salvation Council? So please proceed.
Yes. My name is Rosemary Merkaje, and I am a South Sudanese, of course. I come from Western Equatoria, Meridi to be specific. I come from the tribe of Mundu, and as many people know, we can be counted probably in our thousands. So I think it is an honor to be here, to be representing the people of South Sudan, as well as the people, the small group of people that call themselves Mundu. I am a mother of four, and I am married. I had my education. Some people might know me from Juba. I went to Juba Girls. And when I came here to UK, I then continued with my studies here. Most of my studies, I finished them in the 90s. And I am here in UK. I work as a psychotherapist, worked in different settings right now I am doing private work, seeing people from all walks of life, mostly doing work online, but from time to time, some people, of course, would want to see you face to face. So, that's what I'm doing here in UK. I am a committed member of NAS, and I believe that NAS was quite timely, because when German decided to, form the movement, there was a huge void to many of us. We could see the situation in the country imploding, but we didn't have a platform. So we prayed, and when German finally declared NAS, I was so pleased to be a part of this organization. So that is what I can say roughly about myself. If you need to know anything about me, you can ask me questions, in your own time. But I think that is enough for now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mrs. Rosemary, for this brief biography. I guess we are satisfied in this level. Let's proceed, please, with our questionnaire that we prepared for you today. If I might ask you, what is the National Convention Council and what its role in advancing the vision of NAS? Please.
Well, the National Salvation Council is the legislative body of NAS, which will make the laws that will govern the organization, its members, and all the people that will be living under our areas controlled by NAS. It is to make sure that the laws and the rules that we put in place will achieve the vision that we have for our country. National Salvation Council, we have a particular vision that we want to see. We call it the South Sudan we want to see, really. And this South Sudan is captured in our vision for NAS, which is a peaceful, prosperous South Sudan that ensures freedom, justice, equality, and the rule of law. We want to create laws that ensure unity and restore the dignity of our people. As you would all agree with me, the dignity of the people or the person who is a South Sudanese has completely been depleted. And our mission in National Salvation Front is to, restore the dignity of our people. So this is what the National Salvation Council will be doing, starting of the 11th of May.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madame Rosemary, because we all witnessed this historical moment on the 11th of May when you have been appointed, and we all were waiting for this moment that the Salvation Council finally got a speaker, and the unique part of it that is a female, and this is also another good celebration for somebody like me as a woman. So, what impact would this Salvation Council make to affect the administration, democracy, and rule of law of NAS here? Yeah.
Okay. Well, the impact of the Salvation Council on administration will be, it is to establish the federal system and to institute the principles of good governance in the federal administration areas under NAS and the South Sudan when in government. When we finally go to South Sudan as a government, the impact of this appointment will be felt until then, up to there. And the impact on democracy is, I believe that by exercising debates and discussions and creating laws that will govern NAS now and in the future, this is important, as it is with this kind of discussions that will promote unity and solidarity, because it enables us to identify with what we are talking about. We are part of this. We are making it. We are building it together. Therefore, that is definitely going to create unity and solidarity among the people of South Sudan. That is the impact it will have on democracy. And we are very sure of that. The impact on the rule of law is that the Salvation Council will ensure that all NAS organs operate according to the Constitution and adhere to the rules emanating from the discussions. These will then be made into law, if you see what I mean. It is a whole process, but you can see the impact of the Salvation Council on all of these areas. I don't know whether that is enough. You can ask me following questions if you.
Yeah. Maybe later on, yes, we'll come with some other question, maybe from the public as well. As for me, for instance, I'm a female here interviewing another female who has just been appointed as a NAS Salvation Council speaker. Of course, I feel honored, but if I could say, as a gender activist, what does the appointment here represent to NAS as an organization and to the women constituency in general, from your point of view here?
Right. Everyone is good at something, and NAS needs what we are good at. The reason I'm saying this is that a person had to occupy this position. But on this particular occasion, as you rightly said, we are celebrating the fact that I am a woman. I want to say that the appointment of a female as a speaker represents the determination of the organization to use all available skills to achieve the best that we can with what we have, regardless of the gender, creed, or disability, as we say when we are talking about equality. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a true equal opportunity, I'm hoping, starting with our organs, NAS organs, I mean, now and later on in the South Sudan that we are trying to create. And NAS now has many capable people. And as we grow as an organization, NAS will, continue to put capable people in the right place as they will deliver. Because we know in NAS that if somebody is capable, they will deliver. But if they are not capable, hopefully there will be provision, for them to be brought up to speed. So we are also endeavoring to carry out trainings, programs for different positions that will be people will be appointed into. So I'm just really delighted that I happen to be the first female speaker of NAS, which fills me with a lot of pride, because in NAS we are not segregative. We are just looking at whoever can do the job. We let them do the job. That is what I would like to highlight. Although, Teresa, you're trying to angle for the fact that I am a woman, NAS as an organization is trying to do just that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. As you know, in revolution, always people might think this is something. It's all about men. It's all about masculine. Some people argue that the women does not have a place in a revolutionary struggle. Others describe revolutionary struggle as masculine occupation. How do you disconstruct this narrative, Madam Speaker?
Before I go to deconstruct that, I just wanted to add to the question about gender, actually. I can't go without saying this. I think that the fact that I am a woman is a big vote of confidence for women. It is an indication that NAS respects women's contributions too. So show your passion about serving the people of South Sudan. NAS is exactly where you need to be. So I'm just talking to members of NAS, who are women who are already members of NAS, that you are in the right place and you should continue to focus on what you're passionate about, and you will be noticed and you'll be given your space. That is to the women. And in order to deconstruct the revolutionary struggle being masculine and whatever, first and foremost, I want to look at the word revolution. To me, revolution is the governed causing a fundamental change in the organization or a system or a country. So if you then put the word struggle next to the word revolution, you would say that revolution struggle is a struggle to cause a fundamental change. As you can see from this definition, dissatisfaction with a system that does not meet your needs has no gender. So if we are all agreed, anyone who believes in solving a problem does not look at the gender, but rather, ways of how we can solve this particular problem. So men and women who become disillusioned equally look for solutions to a problem, depending on whether they believe there is a solution or not. To me, revolution struggle, is difficult. For me, in a revolution struggle, it is difficult to think of the gender of the person, whether they are a woman or not. But rather, I'm going to be looking at, how can we solve this problem? In order for there to be a revolution, there is a problem you're trying to solve. So it doesn't matter who you are going to be looking for this solution for this. Therefore, I'm looking at the revolution struggle from a perspective of somebody who's trying to solve a problem. Whether you're a woman or a man, you need this problem solved. So men, women, youth all have a role to play in every revolutionary struggle if you want it to go anywhere. To me, to call it a masculine occupation clearly shows, how sometimes we can look at something and reduce it to one thing, whatever that is that we want to reduce it to. But that does not capture the picture of what a revolution is supposed to be if you start thinking about the gender. What I want to say is that revolution only calls for anyone who wants to see a fundamental change happen. It has nothing to do with anyone's gender. That is my conclusion. After the deconstruction of the word revolution struggle, my conclusion is that revolution only calls for anyone who wants to see a fundamental change happen. So it has nothing to do with gender. I hope that I have deconstructed that enough today.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, that's also to show, and also you proved them wrong, that here you are as a Honorable Speaker of NAS Salvation Council. I appreciate this very much. Of course, as a woman and also as part of the South Sudan, you will always be having a message. So what is your specific message to the women of South Sudan, Madam Honorable?
Yes, thank you, Teresa. That's a very good question. To the women of South Sudan, I want to say this. You are the mothers of the nation. You are very important because you carry the culture of the nation. Never give up. Die fighting for your children. if we want to see change, we have to be intentional in how we want to bring up our children, both male and female children. You know, the reason I say this is if we, for example, we allocate specific roles for boys and specific roles for girls. For example, if you need help and your daughter is not around, but you're so sick, you need somebody to help you. All you have is a son. What do you do? If you have grown or go cultivating or whatever, but does not know how to make porridge for you, you know, when you're sick and you can't eat, how are you going to survive? You can't do this for yourself. So the only help you have is your son. Your son should be capable of making you porridge. So should your daughter. But your daughter should also be capable of going to earn the money that a son would be able to earn for your upkeep. Your daughter should also be able to go and rakuruju, because it is really important to be, you know, multifaceted. One individual should be able to do everything. That is the South Sudan I would like to see. I know that our societies are segregated along gender lines, but we can change that if we want. If we think that what is happening right now is counterproductive to us as a people, we can sit down and change this. And you, the women, are very much at the forefront of this. Because as I said earlier, you are the people who carry culture, and you carry the culture of our nation, South Sudan. If we don't like it, ya Jamaa, let us change it. If we don't like the fact that men keep us down, we should bring up our daughters to stand up tall and be counted in building our country in full participation in whatever there is to do. And our sons, I need us all to tell our sons that, look, you are my child, so is your sister. Your sister is my child too. I want the best for both of you. Therefore, I am going to bring you up as capable people. So let me, you know, on this platform that has been given to me, I am just calling all the women of South Sudan that we need to change that culture, which keeps the women down. But we cannot do that on our own. We need to do it with our brothers, our husbands, our sons, and our daughters and sisters. All together, let us talk about these issues together. Because what we want is everyone's participation. If we want to build South Sudan, everybody has a contribution to make it now. Let us start here. Let us start in NAS today. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. But still, I want to stay in this Pacific message that you gave it to the women of South Sudan. If we can actually connect it with the issue of the masculine, you know, that the men are dominating, don't you think it's also it's the mistakes of the women? Because at the end of the day, the women are the one who raising those children in the house, and then at the end of the day, they will start to start to divide the children, you know, according to them being female or male. That, for instance, you boy, you have to do this, and the girls, they have to do this kind of shows. At the end of the day, we are finding ourselves in difficulties that women are always being looked upon as something that is not capable to take control or to lead or uh, uh, to be in political arena, which actually has discouraged many women. Don't you think this is actually the mistakes of the women themselves, Madam Speaker?
Yes, thank you, Teresa. This is something that I'm really passionate about, and those people who know me know that you know, I am passionate about this. This is a problem that people, our ancestors, worked on it when we were growing up. I am one of 8 sisters, and I understand that to my parents, we were all children. And my brothers were also children. And I saw my mother do what I am recommending here, which is that everybody needs to be brought up as a capable individual. And you're right. If the mothers don't speak out and push for equality, this current situation will continue. We bring up our sons to think that they're better than their sisters, always. So from what you have just said, Teresa, that is why I said that we are responsible to change this culture, to be able to bring the women up. But having said that, I also want to say to the men, our husbands, brothers, and sons, that they need to make the space, because this is something new. We are trying to change. It is like a whole paradigm shift. We need to be talking about things differently. We need to avoid words like "it's a binia circuit," "wala debes la aulad," "demahal aulad." You know, these things come from mothers. And today I'm calling all the mothers in South Sudan to know that without blaming the victim, we are the culprits of keeping the women down. So let us start today to start having that conversation among ourselves. What do we want to see in the future? Do we want to participate? If we do, if we feel that we are oppressed, we need to start talking among ourselves to stop stamping out language like "ita binia sakit," because mothers do that too. Or "ita binia de tali." When there is something that needs to be dealt with, the mothers tend to put their daughters down. And I am hoping that we are going to be having this conversation to have the paradigm shift in South Sudan that is long overdue. A lot of South Sudanese people admire Rwanda, and Rwanda had to take a stand to actively, proactively start looking at what women can do, what women can contribute. The women in Rwanda are not just given those positions because they are women, but they are being given positions because they are capable, and they are women second. So I agree with you, Teresa. That is a point that I am trying to push. Likewise with most of the women in NAS, to push the point that we need change, but that change needs to start with the language that we use to our children, both boys and girls. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, honorable speaker. Like, now we have our country, people also facing a lot in this injunction. What is your message to the South Sudanese people, Madam Speaker?
Thank you, Teresa, for that question. To the South Sudanese people, I would like to say this, that yes, our people have been suffering for a very long time. Our ancestors started the struggle for liberation a long time ago in the 1940s. And now NAS is the final frontier of this liberation struggle, which started in the 1940s. To NAS, you are all important. That is why we are fighting for your well-being. If you want to be part of completing the independence project that started in the 1940s, support NAS in any way you can, and you will never regret that, because we are here to find a solution. We are here to deliver the liberation that started a long time ago. Therefore, we invite you to be a part of it. That is what I would tell the South Sudanese people.
Okay, so like, for instance, maybe some of the South Sudanese might think that maybe it's going to be like a usual revolution, that people will come, and then at the end of the day, when they are in power, they will not actually deliver service to them. But still, we are here in this message, your message to the people of South Sudan. How can you really convince them, or rather tell them that is not usually the same in this regard, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, I mean, because we are still in the bushes, it is very difficult to prove to people that we are different. But listen very carefully to what we say, what our members say, what the leadership says. Listen to our chairman when he talks. It's difficult to prove anything to you, but the proof is going to be in the proof of the pudding is in the eating. You will see some of our members that you come face to face with. When you talk to them about matters of the country, how do they answer you? I think this is really important, because what we are going to deliver is still in the future, but those areas that are already under us right now, the people, the civilians that live under us, will be able to testify how our people conduct themselves in their midst. So that would be a small way of proving that we are not going to be doing business. It's not, going to be more of the same that we are seeing right now in Juba. I can guarantee that. Thank you.
Yeah, in another words, you want to say that we are going to be different. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, as a speaker, let's say now you're maiden history as well in NAS or also in Republic of South Sudan. As a speaker of the NAS Salvation Council, what is your view on NAS position of declining in participating in Nairobi peace talk? Yeah, please.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. When somebody cooks for their children and they're about to start eating their dinner, and then you come and you're hanging around waiting to be invited, I call that gate crashing. In my view, because we did not sign the talks in Nairobi are about RRPs. We did not sign the RRPs agreement in 2018. That is why we are called non-signatories. You can even hear from the introductory speeches by the different speakers that came, at the beginning of the talks. There is nothing in what is going on in Nairobi that is saying anything about solving the root causes of the problems that are fanning violence in South Sudan. So there is really nothing there for us to do. We will just be gate crashing for no good reason, and we will not be able to make any impact because the scene is already set, for the signatories of the RRPs. We are non-signatories. So, we really have no business being there. That is what I would say to that. Thank you.
Yeah, if I might also have like a follow-up question in this regard, but don't you think that as a NAS organization can all actually be labeled as an organization that um, rejecting the peace, or they will look at you like an enemy of peace? Don't you think this also will affect, for instance, something in Republic of South Sudan? They will look at you like an enemy of peace. Don't you afraid of that?
Well, it depends who has been following what has been going on. We have been saying that we are open to talking anytime. We are willing to talk anytime. We, when pre the talks in Nairobi, the Kenyans came to Rome to talk to us. We told them that we are happy to, talk to Juba, to talk to anyone in Rome, because the process had already been started in Rome, and the government delegation just went back to Juba to go and consult, so that they come back to Rome to continue with the talks that are supposed to be resolving the root causes of the problems. We are still waiting for that. So we are not saying that we don't want to talk. In fact, we want to talk, but we want to talk one in Rome, and we believe that all South Sudanese need to sit down and solve the root causes of the problems in our country. So we are still waiting for Juba to come back. So we cannot be seen as people who don't want peace. Why wouldn't we? We want peace. That is why we are insisting that we want to get to solve the root causes of the problems in South Sudan, so that we can go back and live happily ever after. And all South Sudanese know this. We all know why our country is up in flames. We all know it. There has to be the will to solve these reasons, these problems that we know, that are the root causes of this fighting, the root causes of this violence in South Sudan. We need to sit down and talk about this so that we can move on forward from it. Thank you.
It's still the same, in the same position. But what actually blocking you from going to Nairobi? Can you explain? Yeah.
Well, Nairobi is not going to, they've said it very clearly that they are there to talk about elections and the continuation of our ARCIS. And our ARCIS was not going to deliver the South Sudan that the South Sudanese need. We know that. All South Sudanese know that. They are just continuing with the our ARCIS program, and they are not trying to solve the root causes of the problems in South Sudan. They are not trying to bring people together to sit down as at a round table or whatever you want to call it, to sit down and really look at why is there violence, why are there problems, why is there killings in South Sudan, and all the atrocities that you know about. Nobody is trying to look at those specific issues. That is why we are still waiting. For as long as it takes, we will be waiting, because we know that they are our brothers and sisters. One day they'll realize that, look, this killing and all the carnage going on in the country needs to be resolved, because people will get tired. So we are waiting for them to come back so that we can sit down and talk about the issues, the root causes of the problems in our country, and we will come to a resolution as a people together. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. For instance, in your view, what are the things that you see as a big challenging facing NAS that you would like to see your office addressing in this in tenor?
Yes, thank you for that question. At this point in time, what I can see from where I'm sitting is that I will need to encourage our members and all our people to always focus on the greater good. Because if you tackle, or if you're coming from the perspective of seeing the greater good, therein lies all our interests, really. For example, if you're, for example, in a position, you're supposed to be focusing on what is in the interest of everybody, not only what you're interested in. Because if you look at everybody's interest, yourself, your family, your tribe, everything, the whole of South Sudan will be taken care of. So somehow within this, I would like to achieve this, because by achieving this, we will be able to achieve our vision, that the South Sudan that NAS wants to see. If we go back to this place where I'm just thinking about myself, I just want to build my family, I want to build 7 houses, one in Uganda, another one in South Africa, and another one in Europe. I'm just thinking about myself. What about my grandchildren? What about my great-grandchildren? And people have a very long memory. How you conduct business today, your grandchildren will run into that. So what I will be trying to achieve in this period is really to encourage all of us to focus on the greater good, the bigger picture, always. To be able to accommodate all of us in that country, because that country can take us. We have a lot of resources. Each and every person, each and every South Sudanese will be able to live comfortably in South Sudan if the country is run properly. So somehow, I see that as my biggest challenge, to be able to communicate that message in not so many words to each and every member of NAS, and therefore to each and every member of South Sudan, that under NAS, everyone's interest will be taken care of. That is my challenge.
Yeah, indeed, because if you look at the undeveloped areas that we have with different services, especially the internet or the electricity, which are not there, and this also will make a big challenge to not have our people to have a better communication with the media that we have in this 21st century, supposedly. Yeah, thank you very much. Now we're going to a different level, and here will involve a lot of we are as a people who are living in the era of revolution. And in revolution, sometimes when people are there's no democracy. So there is a notion that revolution is a tool that is not democratic. And here you are appointed as a chairman or chairperson, of legislative body of a movement. This body involves taking decision that is democratic in their nature. How are you going to convince people that you are not going to be a dictator and follow this first? Secondly, and how you're going to strike between those two people or two opposing view to usher a new era that democratic values are important even in a struggle if we are going if we are to achieve our vision and mission. uh, Madam Speaker.
Well, Teresa, thank you for that question. Yes, it could look paradoxical indeed to have a speaker a speaker of a legislative body in a revolution movement. But the thing is, in NAS, we have seen the example. We've existed for 7 years. Surely we must be doing something right, if you can just take that. But I believe that many heads are better than one. The reason we are still standing as an organization is because NAS leadership conducts its business in a consensual manner. We nobody just takes, because we believe that you don't know everything. Dictators don't like consensus because they think that they know everything. But in NAS, we know that your ideas, Teresa, and mine, and Tom, Dick, and Harry's ideas will make for a very good country or a very good organization. So dictatorship is really not a risk that anyone needs to worry about, because dictators don't want consensus. So because this is the way we are doing business, there is no risk of becoming a dictator. I can say that for certain, because we people in NAS have very strong voice. Therefore, a chance of anyone being a dictator is very, very minimized. And about striking the balance between a movement and ushering in democratic values, I mean, this is crucial because everybody in NAS is working towards a vision of a country that we want to see. So our struggle is really how to get all of us together to be going towards this country that we want. That is a very small business, because if you have a vision, everyone is trying to get there. So it's difficult to really, it's not difficult to see how this marries with the vision, because we already have a vision. If we didn't have a vision and we're just making it up as we are going, that could be challenging. But because we have a vision, everyone is aiming for that South Sudan that we want. So there is no problem. And the other thing is, you see, I like the two words. I like the word why, and I like the word because. You see, when you ask a question why, it's because you want to understand. And because is going to explain or convince you if you are not already convinced. Therefore, by giving reasons to the question why, you get the consensus. Because open-minded people will then be swayed by your argument. And that is what this, the Salvation Council is going to be encouraging. We are going to be having many whys and many becauses, because everyone has an opinion, and how we get to the vision is going to be consensual. And how do you get a consensus? Consensus is by talking. That is how we're going to be able to strike the balance, because we believe, as I said earlier, we believe that many heads are better than one, and by being able to ask the question why, and the people being willing to give you a because, it's self-explanatory, if I can say that. Thank you.
So you're now absolutely telling that the notion of dictatorship, and democracy here will not play a big role. One must take the lead, Madam Speaker. Can we say that? Can you explain a little bit, elaborate a little bit here? Because we're talking about movement.
Yes. Yes, but you see, Teresa, we can always get what we want, because in NAS we believe that all people have a contribution to make. That is first and foremost. I don't think that I know everything. You don't think that you know everything. But we know that both you and I and everybody else in NAS, we want to achieve something, which is our vision. And if you give me a reason why we have to do something a certain way, there is no reason for me to say no, if it makes sense. And there will be more than one person, of course, sitting down having this conversation. Reason will prevail. So that is why I'm saying that doing business in a consensual manner, there is not much risk of creating a dictatorship. But if you don't want consensus, then it's very easy to become a dictator. Anybody can become a dictator. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So in conclusion, so then we can give also a chance to the audience who are listening. They might have like a question or two, so we can allow them also to come on the stage. In conclusion, what are you doing? What are you doing? To do in these first 100 days for us to see change in the movement. So.
Yes, that's a good question. 100 days from now. What I can say is I like small steps, small goals, and then you build on that. Because of the circumstances under which we are existing right now, we have to be realistic with the goals that we set for ourselves. 100 days when you are in the bushes all over the world, I think I will start by encouraging all our members, first and foremost, to cultivate themselves. I mean, invest in yourself, look after yourself, you the person, and genuinely see the well-being of South Sudan as intimately connected with your own well-being. The reason I'm starting in this place is because if you don't value yourself, you're not going to value other people. And you're not going to, if you're not looking after your own well-being, you're not going to look after anyone else's well-being. So I want to start by saying that each and every one of us should look after our own well-being, as well as the people around us, and then the rest of the comrades, the rest of the compatriots that are with us in the organization, their well-being will be genuinely, intimately linked with the way we look after ourselves. If I don't care about myself, I'm not going to look after you, and I'm not going to look after the next person. So that is why in the first 100 days, I am going to say that each and every member of NAS needs to look after their well-being. And after that, they will then be able to look after the well-being of the people of South Sudan, because they already value themselves. And therefore, it will be easy to value the people of South Sudan because you're already valuing yourself. If, for example, you're in a position of authority, you will ensure that you are achieving expected goals regardless of your personal limitations, because you already know that you're good enough anyway. Therefore, you will strive to get these to achieve these goals, and you learn to ask questions, where you don't know anything, because you think you're good, you are confident in yourself, and you know that the interest of South Sudan is intimately linked with your own interest in yourself. You will learn to train yourself, you will learn to build capacity, because you see yourself as useful to everybody, yourself, your family, and South Sudan. So in the first 100 days, I want to say, I want us all to learn that, that we don't know it all, but we are teachable. That is what I really want us to learn in my first 100 days. I want us to know that we can all learn, and we are teachable. We need to put ourselves in a place where training is, will have impact, because we are teachable. If I don't know everything, if you're trying to teach me something, I'll take it. If I know something and you don't, and you ask me, Rosemary, I don't know this, I'll be more than happy to give you training. So training during this period of time is going to be really, really crucial to take us to where we need to go. So that's what I would strive. I know it's a huge project, given the distances, but where there is a will, there is always a way. So I believe. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I will also give a chance to my two colleagues here on the stage, compatriot Mido. If you have something to say or question to Honorable Speaker here, you're welcome, please.
All right, thank you, compatriot Caesar, and compatriot Dominic, and as well, Honorable Speaker Rosemary. Nothing much I can say. I'm going to say, congratulations, and I'm sure that you will do a tremendous job, because if you see nowadays, even in graduation, you see a number of the women are more than men. In the college, whether in the high school, even in the first grade graduate, and going from kindergarten going to school. So you guys doing a good job. You guys gonna keep going up. You guys need to teach us anyway, because men, with the man idea, we always think we are the best, but we don't know that in some part of the life, you guys are more stronger than us. And I'm not going to really do that, but I'm pretty sure when it comes with the white blood cells, God made a woman stronger than a man. If I have 50%, that's almost I'm close to the grave. A woman can survive even down to 25. And thank you so much. And again, congratulations. God bless you.
Yeah. Thank you, compatriot Mido. Let's go also to compatriot Dominic. Please, the floor is yours. And then if anybody from the audience want to come on the stage, you have question, please don't hesitate. Just raise your hand, we'll bring you up. Thank you. Go, compatriot Dominic.
Yeah, thank you, compatriot Teresa, compatriot Mido, and compatriot Irene, chairperson of the NSC, and the compatriots that are listening down. Let me, from this side, congratulate you on this well-deserved appointment. It's our hope and I believe, that through your leadership, we will see achievements. So continue dedicating us. I'm really happy about some of the answers that you have said here.
Battery 100%.
I know it's challenging, but you are up to the
Connected to Teresa's iPhone.
We want to salute our chairman, Commander-in-Chief, for the trust that he has bestowed on you. I know you are, a shrewd politician, following the current political events that revolves around the National Salvation Front. In one of your answers, you talked about not signing the RRCs, and so it will be a non-starter to ask you to complement it through this Tumaini initiative that is happening. Although you people were, NAS was part of the negotiations in Khartoum until it pulled out. Was it 16 May? I just wanted to know your take. First question on the so-called declaration of commitment and the Tumaini initiative for South Sudan peace process. Do you think that the commitments that came up in this declaration is enough to address root causes of the political problem in our country that made NAS to resolve from it? The other questions, when I was also reading through those commitments, I saw something, especially in commitment number 7, that call on parties who have not joined the high-level mediation to participate in an active role process. I don't know, how are you going to relate to this, especially when NAS was one of the organization that was earlier called or asked And because of issues having to do with the initiative, and because the mediators were not able to answer certain questions satisfactorily, they decided to abstain from this process. So what are you going to say, to such people who are trying to call you to a process that was starting wrong? And in one of our discussions, we were asking what will be the ramifications if this was to culminate into agreement that is going to be signed, especially when the utterance of the mediator and that of President Kiir was very clear that they wanted these people to go to Juba so that they can participate in the election. So the ramifications of this into the axis, knowingly that Kiir does not want to implement the ARSIS with the RIAC, and if he has to implement with these people that are the folks of the Tumaini, what will be the implication on the axis? Will it not take to square one? I know these questions are very many, but you can take it from here. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Do you want me to come into this?
Yeah, come in if you have something to say here, please.
Yeah, thank you, compatriot Mido, for those encouraging words to me. And yes, we will be learning together on this journey, as I was saying earlier, that no one knows all. So men were thinking they were best simply because that is what their mothers told them before. But if we are starting from, challenging ourselves as women, I think that your willingness to learn is great, because that is what I said earlier. All I need in the next 100 days is for all our members to be teachable. And if you are teachable, I think we will get to the finishing line together. And for Dominic's question about Tumaini and not addressing the root causes of the problems in South Sudan, I mean, they were never gonna do that because they said so, as you have said even in your citations now. They set the scene before anybody, and no one was willing, or no one is willing to reopen. If you remember some of the things that we said at the beginning, no one is willing to reopen the hierarchies. And the hierarchies, as far as the moderators are concerned, this is a continuation. This is the next phase of completing the hierarchies, which is why they are talking about elections. Surely that can't be about us. When we didn't sign this agreement in Khartoum, the idea was that, okay, you think this is a great idea? You go, implement the agreement. We will come back and just be no more mere citizens in a South Sudan that is functioning brilliantly with this agreement. But if you don't, you'll come and find us out here. Because some of us could see that the government in Juba was never going to implement that agreement. Some of them were already saying, if you can remember, that this agreement was not supposed to be implemented. So why did you sign it? So when you hear echoes of people saying that the agreement was not meant to be implemented, if you go to Juba, like some speakers have said before on different platforms, you're just taking yourself to this big prison. And we chose not to go to that prison. That is why we are out here. And to be honest, the way I'm looking at it, I am not following it day by day, because we really have no business following that. Apart from, we are South Sudanese, we want to know. that is why we are following. There is really nothing there for us as NAS, and there is nothing there really for South Sudanese, because if Kir wanted to implement the agreement, the RRC's agreement, if it was implemented exactly as it was, I'm very sure we would have no business being out here still. We would have all decided, okay, that's fine. We abandon NAS, we go back to Juba. But the reason we are still here, the reason we still exist here is because the RRCs was not going to be implemented. So we might as well wait. And now what happened? They've come back and they found us here, still waiting for them to implement the agreement. What is happening in Nairobi is just a continuation of that. It's a game. The way I look at it, it's a game. And as long as, people go there and get taken into Juba, they will go ahead with a sham election. We already know the result of the election. The result of the election is Kir has won. Kir is the president. We don't need to go through an election to find out that Kir is going to be the president, because the scene is being set for just that. So I just don't know what to say about that, to be specific, but I think it could potentially be just an exercise of politeness going there. Some of us can't really do that because we can't trust Kenya, as I said, Brown, I'm sorry to say, but all of you know what has been happening to our people. If you disagree with the Juba government, you can't live in Kenya. So, I mean, it's just like chickens voting to be overseen by a fox, I would say. I don't know if I can say that, but I think that everything that is happening right now in Nairobi, to me, is a joke. And about the ramifications, Dominic, I'm not really sure if there is anywhere else we can go, because we are already at the bottom. This is the worst that could happen. We were isolated. We don't have friends in the region. What else do you think is going to happen to us? We are just going to be left exactly where we are. We are fending for ourselves now because we don't have friends in the region. The friends in the region are not too interested in being friends with us because they are friends with Kir. That is fine. So in short, we are going to be, the ramifications are, we are going to be exactly where we are. And where we are, the only way is up. That is what I would like to say. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Charles, I could see that you raised your hand and you wrote on the side chat that I have to bring you. I sent you, but you did not accept. Please, if you have a question to the Madam Speaker here, Honorable Speaker, Mrs. Rosemary, please don't hesitate. You can just raise your hand and come on the stage. Meanwhile, we can play one song like that so we can have water, maybe. Madam Speaker, yeah. I will mute you a little bit, yeah.
Almighty God, have mercy on our people. Give us wisdom and power to liberate our nation from oppression, to achieve peace and prosperity that will ensure freedom, justice, and equality. National Salvation Front will struggle to restore unity, dignity, and power to the people of our nation that preserve diversity and establish a federal democratic South Sudan. We shall honor the blood of our martyrs forevermore. Always nice, Goa, people, power.
It's Nasgua, people power. Please, we'll repeat again. For those who want to come up, please, I can see is one person who want to join the stage and raise your question. Yeah, I could see. Yeah. Welcome, Mr. Nimir Koka. If you have a question, please proceed, please.
Yeah, thank you. Greetings to you all, and congratulations to Rosemary. It is not going to be an easy task, but you're definitely up to the task. I'm sure that your capabilities were well read. Mine is a quick one. Really revolves around the issue of ideology. And actually, we were talking earlier with Amin and Lucia earlier in the day, and I brought up said it is important that we ground our people in ideology and focus them to the greater goal. So my question would be, what would you do in that sense? Because we have had people trying to link NAS to being a tribal project or to an equatorial project, yet it is not. I'm sure we have to debunk all this kind of thinking. But also ideological recruitment, putting the ideology of NAS out there. Because of course it is a role for all of us, but as office bearers, you have to focus more on that. So what are you going to do in that direction? Thank you. Teresa, you can take me down now.
Okay, no problem. You can unmute yourself, Honorable Speaker. Rosemary, you're muted. Just unmute yourself. Yeah, go on, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Nimir, for that question. I mean, those of us who hold offices in NAS can only platforms really for all of us to be able to come and agree on what it is that we want to see. And once we have agreed what we want to see as an organization, it is the responsibility, as you rightly said, it is the responsibility of each and every member of NAS, whether you are in leadership or not. It is our responsibility to disseminate the vision of what we stand for, because our people are so battered by all these experiences over the decades. We need to give them hope, and the way we give them hope is to share our vision with them. We need to tell them that we want a peaceful, prosperous South Sudan that ensures freedom, justice, equality, and the rule of law. I am very sure that if we are able to take this as a message that we are taking to all the people of South Sudan, that will ring very different to them. It will ring new to them, because that is not what they have got. No one cares about their freedom right now. No one cares about justice. No one cares about equality or the rule of law. So if we can take just our vision and share it with each and every person that we come across, I believe that will begin to form the ideology. How are you going to create a peaceful country? There are steps that you're going to take to be able to achieve that peaceful country. What about prosperity? How are you going to make this country prosperous? There is a lot to talk about. So what I would suggest to all of us, it can never be only what the leadership can do. This is something that each and every member of NAS is going to have to carry, because we carry hope for our people. And this is the time that the fact that we have a National Salvation Council now, this should empower all of us to go out there and tell the people of South Sudan that, look, you have suffered a lot. Now we are bringing hope. And this hope is about peace, prosperity, freedom, justice, equality, and you'll begin to see the rule of law if we come to power. Because our people have forgotten all these things. So I don't know, Nimir, whether I'm answering your question the way you meant it to be. But all I'm saying is that we are all, regardless of whether we are leaders or not, every single member of NAS is responsible to carry this vision with us wherever we are going. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think we are going to the end of this interview, but I just want to put the ring back to you. I can see Charles join us. We can give him a chance. Brother Charles, you're welcome. You can proceed with your question.
Thank you, Sister Teresa, Moderator Mido, Dominic, and then Nimir, and then Honorable Speaker Rosemary. Congratulations. This is General Charles Pilson, the leader for Equatorial Bloc for Equality and Justice Movement. I'm from the Federal Democratic Republic of Equatoria, here fighting the colonial South Sudan in our land of Equatoria. Honorable Speaker, just allow me to ask this one question for you, or two questions, if it is allowed. Is there any law or legislation that you have passed to give Equatorians self-determination or total independence? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Charles. Let's give the mic to Honorable Speaker, Mrs. Rosemary. Please, the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brother Charles.
Okay, if you can raise your voice a bit, I'm not sure if, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello,
come closer. Yeah, you go on, yeah.
Yes, thank you, Brother Charles, for that question. It is really important. It is a very important question, and I don't want to play down. But I will say this: I was appointed on the 11th of this month. And that is definitely something that we can table at some point to be able to discuss it, because there are a lot of people. I am Equatorian too, as you know. There are a lot of people who, like yourself, would want the opportunity to table this and be able to have an opportunity to vote for a country of their own. No one is going to shut you down. And as I said, we will have to table that at some point. But right now, we are just trying to deal with the big task of changing the system in Juba. And once that has been done, I can't see why we wouldn't sit down and have conversations about this. Because remember, we are trying to our vision is to create a peaceful, prosperous, and free country where justice prevails. Now, this is your right to be able to talk about wanting Equatoria. I don't think anybody is going to shut you down, but just right now, we would like to push the big obstacle first, and then we will come and work on that obstacle, because we have to work in as you know, if you have obstacles in front of you, you have to prioritize. There has to be a system. You prioritize one over the other, because by tackling one, the biggest, the other one, you've got 2 free hands to be able to deal with the next one, the next obstacles. So I would like to say that although right now we don't have any laws to talk about the independence of Equatoria, we are not going to throw that away, because you have every right to call for independence of Equatoria or independence of Upper Nile or independence of wherever you want. All these things need to be discussed, and they will be discussed as they come up. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. Let's give chance also to our sister Pam. The floor is your sister. You can ask your question.
Thank you, Sister Teresa. I wanted to say hello to Madam Rosemary, and I want to congratulate her on being the first speaker for the NAS Revolution Council. I have a question for Rosemary. It's not pertaining to the Revolutionary Council, but for her as a female politician or a female activist in the political arena. As you asked her earlier, that this politics is dominated by men, and people said that there is no place for women in politics. She answered that, but I wanted to ask for her advice as someone who's active in politics, knowing that being in the media, I have noticed that there is not a lot of female who are active in politics, and if they are, they're not coming out and speaking, even if they are in leadership in some movement. So my question to her is, what can women do to encourage other women to be active in the political arena? And I also realized quickly, as we are new to this politics, we realize that being, whether it's in workplace and especially here in the social media, being in part of the politics, we quickly learn of people with like people who are female also with the Queen Bee syndrome, and also how do we deal with the power dead role here in politics? That's my question to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Go on, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, I didn't get the second part of the question.
The second part of the question, are you aware with Hilda Path him dead power rules? Are you aware of that?
No.
Okay, so there is this Dr. Hilda. She is an activist who advocate for gender equality and how female interact with female in workplace and daily living, where basically the concept of enemy within. While we female, we advocate for gender equality, we also face difficulty within itself, where we don't receive support from other females. Or if, let's say, for example, a female is appointed in a position kind like you are, she will not get support from females who are in lesser position than her, because they wish that every female for themselves, basically, like that alpha male concept, but this is more like a female concept. So how do we female deal with that, and what can we do to encourage more females to join the political arena, to be more active in the political arena?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Pam, for your kind words of congratulations, and thank you for your question. To me, what can we do to encourage more women? This is the first question. To encourage more women to become visible and vocal, you said. And to that, I would say, you see, it depends on the culture that we find ourselves in, because it has been drummed into women for centuries. And now that we are paying attention to this particular problem, Among the younger people, you'll find that people my generation, the few of us were allowed to go to school. The brothers were prioritized over the girls. I'm talking about South Sudan. Priority is given to men. Therefore, men automatically become more visible because things are made easier for them, and the women are always kept in the shadows. So that has an impact because, as I said earlier, the women themselves propagate this. So now that you're talking about it, and I am talking about it, and other women are talking about it, the way we can bring each other up is we need to bring up our children as well as our sisters by encouraging them that, look, I've got your back. You are just as good as your brother. I said that earlier. And that will begin to make them realize, oh, okay, somebody recognizes that, I have something to contribute. Because if you have been put down all your life, of course, you carry this baggage of, well, you're not meant to be visible. And because you have not been schooled in being visible, you carry a certain sense of shame in public spaces. And until we have engaged with that and challenged it by educating ourselves, that will persist. But if we start to talk about it among ourselves, to begin to challenge it, even in our children, if I see another, I am a grandmother now, I don't have young children, but if I see another grandmother or another mother telling their children, oh, it's a Binia circuit, I don't know whether you understand that you're only a girl, you can't do this. We have to challenge that. And if the boys are being encouraged and the girls are not being encouraged, we have to intervene, because this is going to have to be a comprehensive program of education to be able to shift the paradigm that women are less than men or men are better than women. We have to all, both women and men, need to challenge this together for us to change it. If we are saying that we recognize that women have a contribution to make, just as the NAS leadership is doing right now, that means together the men and women in this organization need to work together to begin to empower women by educating them. Because it's one thing to put somebody in a position, it is another to actually have them work, because we have to also avoid putting women just because we want to see women just window dressing. That is counterproductive. It does not help women either, because what happens is that you put this woman there, they just play the stereotype. And if a woman is there because they're supposed to dress the window, and then they behave like they don't know what they are doing, that means you just killed the plight of the women. So if for example, we put somebody in a position of authority or a position of leadership, as a woman, I should be available to this woman. If I know something, I should mentor this woman. And if the brothers in the movement believe in women contribution, we all should be pouring into this woman to encourage them to come up. I don't know whether I'm answering your question, but there is a lot of work that needs to be done, and this work cannot be done by women alone, because what is happening is we are being told, oh, you come up, women, come up. But then what the men folk are doing, they're blocking the door. So it doesn't matter how many of you pile at the door. If no one wants to let you in, you can be smart on the doorsteps and you're not going to be seen anywhere at all. So I think that all men and women need to work towards the agenda of bringing women up, because we recognize that they have a contribution to make, they have a qualification, they are capable. So we all have to be advocating for this. Regarding, I can't remember what you called it, the Hilda something syndrome. I mean, you see, the downtrodden, if you have been brought up in a negative environment, when you go out there, guess what do you give? You give negativity. Women have been pushed down for all these years, all the decades. All they know is to pull each other down. If we show them that, look, you're just as good as anybody else, but there is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, each and everybody occupying those positions are viable in those positions, and we need to support them in that position. I think this negative competition begins to dissipate, if I can say that, because you realize that, oh, I am acknowledged in number 10. Number 1 thinks that, number 10 is a position that needs to be occupied and perfected. And number 1 is not going to lord being number 1 over me because I'm number 10. So that begins to create a sisterhood, among the people. This is me thinking almost, thinking of as if I'm in some sort of a utopia, because I know what you're talking about. Women are the worst enemies of each other. They don't want to build each other. And sometimes, even if you want to build each other, this person who is in a position of authority does not respect the fact that you respect them. So what tends to happen is people just begin to drift away, because no one is going to hang around if all you have to emit towards them is abuse. They will go away. So basically what we will have done is we have worked against each other simply because we don't understand that we need to liberate ourselves from this sunken place where women are normally kept, where everything negative exists. Once we liberate ourselves from that place, we'll be able to invest in each other, knowing that, if you succeed, Pam, I succeed. And if Jane succeeds, I succeed. It doesn't matter whether I'm in that position or not. Your success is my success. But we have a long way to get to that place. We need to talk. I am a therapist. I can't encourage people enough to talk. So talk. All the women need to talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll go down.
Yeah, thank you, Sister Pam, for your question. Yeah, go on, Compadre Dominic.
Thank you, compadre. I like to call you compadre because these honorable speakers will force us to call you people horrible like what you do with these people here. So I'll be very comfortable to call you my compatriots. So compatriots, Mary, Rosemary, yeah, thank you. But I just wanted to follow up, in this question. Don't you think that it is about time that issues that has to do with the protections of human beings, including but not limited to women, are put into law, basically? Then it becomes grounded on a very solid foundation of do's and don'ts, because of the very thing that you have said right now, that you see, no matter, of course you wanted to deconstruct some of the myths that are in the people's mind. But, I was just thinking a little bit, because the only way you can be able to deconstruct these myths, is to marinate it with, laws. You synchronize it, you reinvent it with laws, so that it becomes something that you need to follow, because it is a law. Especially now that we are talking about constitution, we are talking about social contracts, and one of the tenets of the social contract is that you relinquish your right to something that is called sovereign or a government, and that intends to protect you. So, because if no matter what you do, no matter what you say about you women, they will continue to say, "Oh, you are just doing it in order to appease these women, or to make yourself, look good, that you are an agenda sensitive organizations, or even if a woman has been graced because of her potentials and capabilities, like what you have rightfully said, they will come and say, no, they just give her, these things because of being a woman. What you have said as ring fence, it was forced me to realign and ring fence what I wanted to ask you, Ali, of the fact that, for example, there's this saying that, all of us men, we have failed, to provide leadership to South Sudan. So to have a next transition, it must be, managed by sisters, akin to what Golda Meir in the 70s did with Israel. When all the men are failing in Israel because of their stiffness and thick-headedness, she has to come up as an iron lady, and she was able to put Israel through a transition that shows what this country is today, what it is, and she's always been honored in the political history of Israel. So maybe we wanted to see things, but the fear is that they will say, no, you are doing these things because you wanted to appear to be gender sensitive, or you wanted to or you're weak or something like that. The many things that we are hearing. What can you say about such kind of thing? But the most important thing is, how can we deconstruct this myth, without a law? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, compatriot Dominic. Yes, compatriot is fine because the honorable title is too heavy. I think compatriot sounds very good. Regarding your question about putting or ring fencing the protection of women, there is absolutely nothing wrong with putting things into law. But I seem to remember that SPLA was giving women 35%. I remember my mom used to bang on about that when they were in SPLA. And I thought that that was going to be a really good foundation for us to build on. It is in law somewhere, isn't it? In the cacophony of the documents that SPLA has. I don't see that being kind of practiced really to the letter. So I'm not saying that it shouldn't be put in law, the protection of women participation shouldn't be put in law. But I think we need to start making steps towards that. In NAS, we are saying women should be 50-50 with men because we are the majority, surely. We can't be aiming for 35%. We are saying that women should be 50% and men should be 50% of the leadership of NAS. That is what we are working with. But whether we put it into law or not, there has to be certain things in place. One is, as you rightly said, people will be saying, they just want to, it is a gimmick, basically. Having women in position of leadership is just a gimmick. Sometimes maybe they are right, because if the women are not capable of holding a particular position, and you're going to keep them there, you can't blame people saying that that is a gimmick. You just want to be seen to be doing this. If you find the right women for the right positions or for the right responsibilities, one. Number two, if these women that you have put in these positions can deliver, all these dissenting voices will dissipate. But if these women come up and you have put them in respective positions and they're not able to deliver the reason for which you put them there, then you really have no defense. So I think since this is such a big thing, I think we need to discuss this in NAS because, as you know, all women are very passionate about this. And since everyone is interested in talking about this, I think we need to talk about it. How can we bring our women up? I think first and foremost, the women have to be teachable. If we are going to bring them up, they have to be teachable. You can't know everything. You can't claim to know everything when you actually don't. So if you are realistic and tell them, look, I can't really do this job because I don't have the capacity. But if you want me to do this job, then give me training. You see, like that, we will have the right women doing the right jobs. And whoever put them there will not have to eat their words because the women will deliver, But both women and men, inappropriate. That is what is happening right now in Juba. People are in positions just in name. They are not able to do the job. And I don't think they are actually teachable, because if they were teachable, they would have been trained. If they are not teachable, they can't be trained. Therefore, you have got the stagnation like we see in Juba. In NAS, we are working towards not replicating Juba. And that is why I was saying earlier that in my first 100 days, I would like to see that we begin to adopt teachability. Both men and women in NAS need to be ready to learn. That means we need to be teachable. You might know something I don't, Dominic. So you should be able to teach me, and I should take it, whether I am a woman or not, whether I am senior to you or not, whether I am junior to you or not. I need to acknowledge that Dominic has something I need, therefore let him teach me. It's about humility. This is something that our chairman has modeled to us many, many times. And the reason we do NAS business in a consensual manner is that our chairman knows that although he's the leader, he takes on everybody's views. Because, you have to lead this thing. You can't do this on your own. Therefore, you have to have other people around you. And in order to do that, you have to be humble. And chairman has shown us that humility can take us very far away from where we started. So I think it is important that we take a leaf out of his book, all of us, both men and women, and we will be able to solve this problem. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. As we are saying, we're going to remain here like for 2 hours. Now we're approaching 2 hours. Now we are coming to the last question, Madam Speaker. Your message first to the people of South Sudan, the last message, and then to the members of NAS. What can you tell them?
Okay, thank you. Yes, to the people of South Sudan, I know the pain that we have been through because I am one. I, like many of you, was a child in exile, and suffering has become synonymous with our identity. We do it so well, but it is time now to come out of this state of suffering. We need to live. What we need to aspire to do right now is to start living. And in order for us to live, we need to change what is happening in our country in order to be able to live. You cannot live your life if you have a cancer that needs removing. So I look at what is going on in Juba as a cancer that South Sudanese need to remove. Therefore, let us work together to remove the cancer that is basically strangling us. And to the members of NAS, you are in the right organization. You are in the right place. Take up your responsibility and stand up tall, because your brothers and sisters in the country are going to need you to show them the way of achieving that peaceful and prosperous country that ensures freedom, justice, equality, and the rule of law. We are the custodians of this. Brothers and sisters, we need to stand up. We need to start talking. We need to start telling South Sudanese that we've got what you want. We've got the answers you have been searching for years, for decades. The answers that our ancestors, our grandparents were looking for. We've got that now, because there is enough of us who are educated, both in the country and outside the country. And what is happening now is that all the diaspora, the South Sudanese diaspora, are an asset to that country. And all the South Sudanese, the NAS members who are inside the country, wait for us, because we need you and you need us. And together we will build a very beautiful country that is in our vision: peaceful, prosperous, free, just, where everybody observes the law of the country. We will feel safe, which there isn't now. You are important, and you are very important to us, and you are a people who deserve to enjoy life just like everybody else, just like all the other countries. Our children, some of our children were born in exile and have never been home. And since independence, they have not been able to go back home. This is the time that we have to look them in the face and tell them, look, we will take you home. You will go and see your ancestral land. You'll go and see your grandparents' graves. You'll go and see the ancestral land back in your villages and smell that earth, smell the freshness of our country, and smell the indigenous life that you have been deprived of for so many years. We have a duty for the members of NAS. We have a duty. I can't say that enough. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Mrs. Rosemary. And I also want to, for some people, maybe they got confused regarding the two speakers here. Some were maybe thinking now Mr. Subha Samuel, the NAS spokesperson, is being replaced by Miss Rosemary. So just want to make a correction here to people who might really got confused here. Subha Samuel is a NAS spokesperson for the entire movement, and Madam Speaker here, Mrs. Rosemary, she's a speaker of NAS Salvation Councils. NAS Salvation Council is like a parliament, so she's a newly appointed, and she's also a first female, who's been appointed here. So she's also like we're actually witnessing a history here that she's the first speaker to this council, and at the same time the first female speaker. So that for those who are asking the question, in this regard. So I hope this confusion is being clarified better. As for the council, because I could see somebody just raise a question, who was asking this council consists of how many people? I don't know if I could throw this question to you, Madam Speaker, I know that you already make a conclusion. If there's a way that you can answer this. Yeah, thank you.
Hello?
Yeah, go on, please. Yeah.
Yes, thank you again. I thought I had concluded. Thank you for that question. As I was saying earlier, because we are a movement, first we had 61 people. But because we are a movement, we are in the struggle. As many of you might have already known, we have defections and so many changes all the time. So right now, I will have to look at the update of how many people we have replaced, and I can't quite answer that question right now. But we will keep you informed as to how many people we have in the council. At the moment, just from the top of my head, we had about 61 people. That may have changed since. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for your answer. I just want to also appreciate your coming here for this interview, and thank you for answering all the question from us as hosts, and plus the members, or plus the audience who are listening to the room. And we want to appreciate all of those people who are also watching us through YouTube, those who are listening here in Clubhouse. We appreciate your visit to the NAS Global Forum, Madam Speaker. And we want to appreciate all the listeners for being with us for the past now 2 hours. I will say thank you very much, and we shall end the room with one last song. And the other thing that I want to say, that in a couple of days, starting like now with this room and so forth, we'll be hosting a lot of topics, and plus also some other leaders from NAS that will come ahead. And among them maybe would be the chairman of NAS himself, but that will take actually a gradual step, because we have some other activities that we do online here, Clubhouse video and YouTube and Facebook, and then we'll end with the hosting the chairman, in the coming days or week. So I will appreciate you all. Let us listen to this humble song from our people with our local Arabic, and I hope you guys will also enjoy while we are about to end.
South Sudanese, na mijerewe, debi kapele tanina salabatari zede, ina biseli le ala na sibi yisi koko. South Sudanese, na mijerewe, debi kapele tanina salabatari zede, ina biseli le ala na sibi yisi koko. South Sudanese, na mijerewe, debi kapele tanina salabatari zede. Now be selling the ala, nasi be yisi koko. South Sudan kudu, now be jerewe. Demi da bele danina, salabata lizende. Now be selling the ala, nasi be yisi koko. South Sudan kudu, now be jerewe. Debiga bele danina salabatali zede na biseli le ala na sibisi koko. Sasudani kulu na bijerewe. Debiga bele danina salabatali zede na biseli le ala na sibisi koko. Number one on the beat, number one on the beat. Tupatepele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. Nalakani pele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. Jomulete pele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. Kurute pele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. Rumeki de pele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. Waude pele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. South Sudanese kulu, na mijere wele. Debiga bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. South Sudanese kulu, na mijere wele. Debiga bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. South Sudanese kulu, na mijere wele. Debiga bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. South Sudanese kulu, na mijere wele. Debiga bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. South Sudanese kulu, na mijere wele. Debiga bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. South Sudanese kulu, na mijere wele. Debiga bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. Yamiyo bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. Yeide bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. Mariti de bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. Mundri de bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. Mati bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko. Junubi de bele tanina, salamatari zede, na biseli le ala, na sibi isi koko.
Indeed, yani kalam bita gale South Sudan de belet tanina shala batali zede alina biishi fogo. That's why, like our honorable speaker today have said, that we have to work hard, to make change in our country, because there is no way out that we have to live away or run away from it. We have to put our hand together and then fix it, as long that we are the one who actually chose this country, and we are the mothers and fathers, or let's say all of us, we are the founder of this country, and therefore we have to take our responsibility in hand, as we voted that we want to have an independent state. This responsibility is also for us to put hand together to fix everything. Yes, our country has collapsed. Everything you can see is really serious. But who will actually bring these pieces of this? South Sudan is not stable. Is you who voted for independence of this country. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now I'm going to end the room and also the video, and I appreciate all of you who came and those who listen later. Today we hosted Madam Speaker. She is also a newly appointed Speaker of NAS Salvation Council. NAS Salvation Council is like a parliament, if you can put it in that way. Thank you very much. God bless you. Bye bye. Until then. Thank you, our people on Facebook as well. God bless you.